Hey everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. I publicly exposed my aunt and spoiled cousin after they hijacked my birthday celebration, turning it into an embarrassing spectacle. My Aunt 40 aunt, whom I'll call Karen, has been married to my Uncle 43 for a little over a year. She had a daughter 12 of whom I'll call Emily from a previous relationship. My uncle has always treated Emily like his own daughter, even though he only came into her life when she was 9. Emily never really had a father figure growing up. When their relationship got serious, my uncle introduced both of them to our family. Since then, they have been present at most gatherings and family holidays. I never liked Karen because she was always very demanding and would force people around her to do what she wanted. She never had any respect for anyone, but that's another story. For instance, she would always show up late to events, or sometimes not come at all. When I say late, I mean 45 minutes to an hour late even when people emphasized the importance of being on time. She never apologized for it. She always asked other people to do things for her, like go get something, go to the shop, or do anything she didn't want to do, and never took no for an answer. She has said multiple times that she expects to be treated like a princess. My family always found her impolite and disrespectful, but we didn't say anything because my uncle seemed happy with her, so we let it slide. The real problem, however, was her daughter. I can't begin to explain all the disrespectful and entitled things she has done, but I'll list a few examples. When she was first introduced to us, I was 20 and would normally sit at the adults' table. Emily, who was 10 at the time, decided it was unfair that I got to sit with the adults while she didn't. She demanded either to sit with the adults or for me to return to the children's table. Instead of explaining to her that I was an adult and she was a child, my aunt told me to go with the children. When I expressed that I didn't want to, especially since the children were between 7 and 14 and I was much older, my aunt said that if I was so immature that I didn't want to switch tables, I didn't deserve to be at the adults' table. Ever since then, she made sure I was seated with the children. Emily would always ask me to go play with her even when I was doing something else or working. When I said no, she would throw tantrums. Her mother always yelled at me for making a child cry and not being a good cousin, and forced me to go play with her. But when I played with her, Emily would only ask me to do things for her, like make her a snack or dress her dolls, and would throw tantrums if I didn't. She would always steal my stuff. When I told her not to because 1, she didn't ask for permission, and 2, she was too young to use makeup, she once again threw fits, and her mother forced me to be generous. Emily ruined a lot of my stuff. For some reason, she was always very jealous of me. Everything I had she wanted. She demanded that I give it to her. When I got my bachelor's degree, my family threw a party to congratulate me, but Emily got angry that she didn't have all the attention and a party for herself. So my aunt threw the exact same party at the same place the next day. Every present I had, Emily would ask her mom for and eventually get. She would make every event about her, even my birthdays. I tried to let it slide and be patient with her, and I tried to tell myself that she was just a child. But her behavior didn't seem to change as she grew up. If anything, she was becoming even more entitled. My last straw was 2 days ago. We were celebrating my birthday. I was born at the beginning of May, but we waited until June to celebrate to ensure good weather as we planned to have a birthday party in my grandparents' garden. As soon as she arrived, which was approximately an hour late, Emily started complaining that we were celebrating my birthday 1 month after the actual date. She claimed that if we were doing that, we could celebrate her birthday too, since she didn't really have one because it's close to Christmas. To clarify, her birthday is November 29th, which is still a month before Christmas, and her mother always made a point to throw her a real party and not just group it together with Christmas. Karen always made a big deal of it, and we always bought her very nice gifts. But Emily conveniently forgot about that and complained for about 10 minutes before her mother gave in and asked my grandmother to go buy another cake and candles for Emily, as we would also be celebrating her birthday. Emily then complained that it wouldn't be a real birthday because she had no gifts. Karen said that people had time to buy her something and that if there weren't any gifts for her, we could just share mine since I had plenty. I was furious. I went into my grandmother's house, asked if she had any cardboard boxes I could use, and pretended to wrap a box as a gift. Inside I only put one thing, a note saying congratulations on being such a spoiled brat, but don't worry, it's not your fault. Your entitled mother raised you that way. Hope you enjoy your present. Yes, it was immature, but I had just had enough. She had ruined all the most important moments of my life for the past 3 years, and I was so tired of it. When people sang happy birthday to me, Emily and Karen made sure to sing happy birthday, dear Emily, instead of my name loudly enough to cover all the other people there. I was so angry but thought she wouldn't be smiling that way for long. I was right. As soon as she opened my present, she started screaming and throwing a tantrum when she saw what I had written. Her mother started yelling at me, but I just smiled at her the whole time. She called me many names and immediately left with Emily. My family members didn't really react, as no one liked Karen or Emily. However, I have received plenty of texts from my aunt and uncle, and even some from other family members, saying that I was a hole for ruining a little girl's birthday. I haven't replied yet because I don't really regret what I did, but I keep thinking that maybe I went too far. Update 1, I just got a call from my dad, and he told me multiple things. First, he said that my uncle called him right before he called me and told him that he understood where I was coming from and wasn't blaming me for saying something. However, he said that I should have known better than to humiliate Emily in front of everyone and ruin what should have been a great moment for her. My dad told him that Emily had been constantly harassing me for years, and that she humiliated herself by trying to steal someone's birthday from them. He also told him that it shouldn't have been a great moment for her because it shouldn't have been a moment for her at all. My uncle seemed to understand, but my dad thought my uncle couldn't say he agreed with me because otherwise Karen would get mad at him. My uncle also said that it made him sad to have these sorts of conflicts in our family because he didn't want to not be able to see my dad or my grandparents and just wanted his family to be happy. My dad replied that he should be telling that to his wife because we had always been a happy family with no drama until she came along. My uncle told my dad to ask me to apologize to Karen and Emily so that we could put this in the past, and my dad told him that he would talk to me but would understand if I didn't want to apologize and would have my back. I told my dad that I wouldn't apologize and that I wanted a real apology from Karen and Emily for how they had treated me for years. Until then, I would ignore them and they wouldn't be invited to any event related to me. My dad also told my uncle that he should really divorce Karen because she treated him and everyone else miserably, and that he didn't even understand why he was with her. But my uncle said that it was complicated, and my dad didn't tell me much about that. According to my uncle, more and more family members have started sending messages to Karen to tell her that her behavior was unacceptable and to basically say everything they had kept to themselves for years. My uncle sort of blames me for it because he says that I started a hate train against Karen, but I told my dad that, in my opinion, she started that herself. Anyway, he said that it was really bad because even family members who weren't at my birthday were sending her texts. Although I feel like that might be going a little too far, I understand, because no one had said anything for the past 3 years, but at some point it had to come out. In the end, my uncle asked my dad to ask me to come to his house today or tomorrow to talk to Karen and Emily and try to solve the problem. My dad told me that I didn't have to go if I didn't want to. I told him that I wouldn't go alone because I was tired of being bullied by Karen and Emily, but that I would maybe like to go if my parents came with me. I don't really know if I should go. I don't think they will miraculously realize that they've been in the wrong all this time, and I'm not sure if a meeting will lead to any genuine resolution or just more conflict. My past experiences with Karen and Emily suggest that they aren't likely to take responsibility for their behavior or acknowledge the harm they've caused. Given that, I'm conflicted about whether attending the meeting will be productive or if it will only give them an opportunity to continue their manipulative tactics. On one hand, having a discussion might offer a chance for some level of closure or understanding. It could also potentially ease the tension in the family and allow for a more harmonious environment moving forward. On the other hand, if Karen and Emily continue to be dismissive and entitled, it could end up being a frustrating experience that only deepens the divide between us. If I do decide to go, it would be important to set clear boundaries and expectations for the conversation. It might help to have my parents there for support, as they understand the background and can help mediate the discussion. However, I also worry that if the meeting goes poorly, it could worsen the situation and put additional strain on family relationships. Ultimately, I need to weigh whether it's worth the emotional energy and potential conflict to attend the meeting, or if it might be better to focus on setting firm boundaries and moving forward without seeking a resolution from Karen and Emily. After a lot of contemplation, I decided not to attend the meeting with Karen and Emily. My past experiences with them had shown that their behavior rarely changed, and I wasn't confident that a single meeting would resolve the deep-seated issues. Instead, I chose to focus on setting boundaries and managing my relationships with them in a way that protected my own well-being. I began by clearly communicating my boundaries. I made it known that I would no longer tolerate being overshadowed or disrespected at family events. I also decided to limit my interactions with Karen and Emily to avoid unnecessary conflict. For now, I chose to keep my distance, allowing myself to step back from the ongoing drama. In the aftermath, I found some relief in focusing on myself. My family and friends who understood the situation continued to be a source of comfort. They reassured me that I was not in the wrong for standing up for myself and prioritizing my mental health. Karen and Emily, on the other hand, seemed to continue their usual patterns. Although the family tensions did not disappear overnight, there was a noticeable shift. More family members began to openly address the issues with Karen's behavior, expressing their frustrations and concerns that had been bottled up for years. This was a positive development, as it meant that the issues were no longer being ignored or swept under the rug. My uncle, while still caught in a difficult position, showed more understanding of my perspective. He continued to try to mediate between the warring factions, but also seemed to be recognizing the validity of the complaints against Karen. The family dynamic remained strained, but it felt like a necessary change was underway. In the end, I realized that not every problem could be solved through direct confrontation or immediate resolution. Sometimes maintaining distance and focusing on personal boundaries is a more effective way to manage complex family dynamics. It wasn't an easy decision, but it allowed me to preserve my own peace of mind and maintain healthier relationships within my family. Thanks for tuning in to today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.